Welcome to the Multichain Nation. Today we have James, founder of ecoBridge. James, welcome.
Hey, thanks, Rudy. Great to be here.
Great to have you. I know, ecoBridge is doing something that we actually like in crypto, regenerative, regen, not degen, regen. So please tell us more about what you're doing in ecoBridge.
Yeah, we're working really closely with Regen Network. That's a Cosmos-based blockchain layer one, and we're helping them become more interoperable. And we're working a lot with Axelar and Squid Router to make that happen. So yeah, we've got a decentralized cross-chain swap powered by Axelar and Squid Router that where 100% of the fees go towards environmental impact, regeneration, retiring credits directly. And then we also have a direct impact tab where anybody can retire different types of credits really easily in any token that's accepted. We're live on 10 different blockchains, and then also with uh, any token that's available on Squid or Axelar.
Nice.
And then, yeah, we're just continuing to build out new and novel applications for ecological assets.
So where did this idea stem from? I mean, it's it this seems, I don't know, maybe a personal touch for you, to something to build some that's environmentally friendly and actually not just being environmentally friendly as a company, but also actually getting back to the environment. So how did this all come about?
Yeah, I was doing my MBA thesis on sustainability in Canada while I was in Europe for a while. And yeah, I just kind of went down a rabbit hole on carbon credits. And I had been working with a water treatment company a little bit on the side, and I'd been exploring the idea of a carbon credit methodology around manure lagoon treatment here in Canada, and kind of ran the numbers and thought, wow, what a great way to we could literally offer this technology for free to every farmer in Canada if we can generate a credit off it and get it into the non-voluntary system. And then explored that a lot for my thesis, and around the economics of regeneration, the three pillars, and the most overlooked pillar, the economics that nobody wants to touch ever, is believe it or not, the most important.
What are the three
And
pillars?
um, environmental, social, and economic. So
Gotcha.
yeah, everybody wants to do credits around environmental and social, but not ignore the fact that we need the economics to work for any of it to happen.
Yep.
Is pretty much the gist of it.
Nice.
And yeah, so basically trying to develop a credit around that and how that worked, and that led me to some disappointing results of the barriers to entry to credit generation, which is like $1 million plus to get any kind of a
Wow.
protocol in there. So, thus stumbled upon Regen Network and Regen Ledger and the permissionless ability to create credits, and kind of been working with them and alongside them ever since. And yeah,
And how many years ago was this
it was about
started?
three years ago. Yeah, in 2021 started that.
Wow. So you came a long way already on 10 chains. Like, is that, due to Axelar's multi-chain abilities, or like, how did that come
Yeah,
about? How,
we have a cross-chain communication protocol that allows for the retirement, and then Axelar has been incredible at allowing us to bridge the regen token around, and then enable so many more chains to basically be swapped in and enable payments on all of these different chains, and then obviously fully power our swap mechanism as well. So, been really helpful there.
and is this live today?
Yeah. Bridge.eco, you can go. I think it's the first decentralized swap mechanism or decentralized exchange where 100% of the fees go to regeneration. So,
How do you take care of your day then, if everything goes to the
yeah, I mean, the typically we work out deals with project developers on the other side. So,
nice. So then, in what areas are you like? giving back to? What developments are you working with?
We have do a lot with the city force credits in the United States of local initiatives. There, we do biodiversity credits around in the Chilean Andes region, where they actually biodiversity credits are different from carbon, where they actually just they're not outcome based, they're practice based. So just the actual land protected for 30 years in this particular case is the credit, and the carbon is like a byproduct of the actual action that they're taking. So just a different way to go about it. And then there's various projects all around the world. We have about ten ecological projects live right now.
Did you and how's that feeling, 3 years later from inception of this idea? Like, how are you feeling as a founder
It's
today?
good. Yeah, it's been fun, been a journey. Like we've pivoted a lot and it's been an absolute grind, but we're carrying on still. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. The bear market was not fun for anybody, but
No,
we're coming out the other side here.
good. Well, that's the nice thing about bear markets, right? It gives you time to actually build and kind of ignore the noise just for a minute and the hype, because you're always, I feel like, and during a bull market, everyone's chasing a number, but during a bear market, everyone's building. And what was your implementation experience like with Axelar when you were building?
It was smooth for the most part. We're still working on some custom modules, but a lot of the stuff worked really well. Yeah, been great. We've now got the regen token live on base as well, and that's all been working perfectly. Our bridge kind of functions well. So yeah, it's been awesome. Been
And
quick.
for the for your development with Axelar, was that an easy choice to go with them? Like, how did that decision making happen?
It was a long process actually. Yeah, we did a lot of research on bridges. We tried a lot of the functionality that bridges said was there was not there, which was really frustrating.
Yep.
And yeah, so very time consuming finding the right solution, and luckily Axelar had the features we want. We're still hoping for a Solana implementation. We can't wait for that as well, so we can get over to Solana. But yeah, it's been really good there.
There must have been a breath of fresh air. Speaking eco, but a breath of fresh air is just seeing a project that kind of solved your need and you're able to actually implement it and deploy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the tech is really solid on Axelar. My partner raves about it a
Yeah,
lot. But it's yeah, he's on the full technical side. So
I I hear that a lot with XR is that they're very hands on with the projects that are building on top of them. Very helpful, good documentation, and they make it as easy as possible for the developers, because ultimately you know, that's their market, right? Is people to build on top of their protocol. So it's nice to hear that it was an enjoyable experience.
yeah, for sure.
Now that you're live, you have developments going on their way. You have your region token floating around different blockchains. What's next for Bridge?
Basically, we want to enable a widget, like a simple customizable widget for anyone to implement ecological assets onto. So right now it's permissionless. Any protocol can integrate eco credits in. It's completely free. We just need to tighten up the docs and provide a little widget for anyone to use. So essentially, like if you want to offer say in your native token as well. If you want to offer the ability for people to donate 1% of their fees to ecological health, they can go ahead and do that programmatically, and you can have a full, transparent audit trail right down to the credit retirement. And doing that with basically trying to get a bunch of different types of integrations, looking into like gaming and things like that, where to have a real world impact inside of a game,
Mhm.
we can enable that feature. So looking for builders now to build with ecological assets and regeneration in mind.
Hopefully, people who play what's it called, Farmville, can redonate back into actual farms.
Yeah,
Um,
very nice.
so, can you go a little bit more about like ecological assets and what that means, and how someone, you know, donating or giving credit back, how does that reach the hands of the developers who are on the forefront of the actual land?
Yeah, with the interesting thing about regen as well is that way more of the actual value that's purchased goes directly to the project developers, the boots on the ground type things, whereas in the overly commoditized carbon markets, I guess, maybe not overly, but the commoditized carbon markets, they're going to brokers and they've been purchased, and those funds don't necessarily trickle down to or go back to the project developers other than the general demand for the market providing a sell structure for the project developers to sell their credits into, of course. But this is basically going directly to those developers that are issuing their credits. Like someone can go into a eco credit module, create a credit, generate, verify their impact, and then list the credits directly, and they get it. It's a permissionless system, so very, very aligned with blockchain values that way. And then, as long as people like the type of credit and the type of impact that someone's having and trust the verification, then it's a pretty direct route to funding those types of things.
And how do you find those developers to fund, or how do they onboard onto your system?
Well, they go through regen first, typically, and then, well, it depends. If there's a credit already, we can onboard anyone directly to the eco ledger. So any registry anywhere can easily have an API access key to the eco ledger and then make their credits available because we have an event-driven architecture so that one credit can be made available across any chain, anywhere, any application simultaneously. So there's no fragmented liquidity. But for the actual credit origination, that's on Regen, where they have data modules and things like that, where you can upload project data and then have them verified. And then that data lives on chain or is hashed on chain, so it can't be tampered with. And then those generate the credits that are then made interchain by us.
Nice. And did you have any difficulty getting maybe people who aren't so crypto native onto Bridge, ecoBridge?
Yeah, well, for the project developers themselves, there's a
Hmm.
lot of people that aren't very crypto native. Like teaching them how to use
Yep.
the regen ledger is complicated. Is really tough for them, so they have to have a lot of help. Definitely, it's very rural. Rural. I mean, the Jaguar credits, for example, are like as rural as it gets. They don't have internet access, I don't believe, or anything.
The
So,
Jaguar credits? What is?
well, there are biodiversity credits that uses a jaguar as an umbrella species to verify that that region has been basically brought back to life. And
Oh, cool.
the jaguar is like, if the jaguar is there as a predator, that means everything below the jaguar is there.
Ah, that's cool. Yeah, it's like the things too. Like, you probably learned so many amazing things developing this that, us being, I guess I'm mostly on the computer in my day. I kind of forget the outside world exists, and touch
Yeah.
grass some more. So it must be fun to learn more about, how, how our world, our ecosystem works
Yeah.
outside of this technology.
Yeah. It's really cool. I wish I got to do more like in person visits to these sites. I've done a few to like the water treatment facilities and stuff, but not the deep remote spots. So I'd like to make a couple of trips.
Like, and what was something that, you're launched 3 years later? You've been working hard on this. Something that really felt like you can taste the reward of all your hard work. What event has happened that made you feel that way?
I'd say the first time we took the Solana blockchain carbon neutral. That was like a really big breath of fresh air and just like, yeah, good work, pat on the back kind of thing.
Possible.
Yeah, that was one of the big ones that was super exciting. And
Nice.
then yeah, launching the new product with the swaps and people saying that they're very excited that something like this finally exists. People that care about the environment so that they can just swap with similar fees to Uniswap, but have an impact is seeing some of the excitement around that was really cool too.
And for people who are listening here now and thinking that they want to get involved with ecoBridge, um, and where can they go? Where should they find you? What can they do?
Yeah, well, bridge.eco is our site. If you want to do any kind of swaps and that sort of thing, if you want to get involved in like token stuff, we don't have a token, but we've adopted the regen token for governance of the eco ledger, so like which credits can be involved and that sort of thing. And there's a ton of stuff going on there around bridging, making the token interchain, liquidity development and stuff. So there's any interest to join there, you can check out their regen.network as well and the Telegram, Discord, that kind of thing. But yeah, we're the ecoBridge on Twitter as well.
Was it hard to come up with that name, ecoBridge?
Well, we were actually Eco Token for the longest time,
Ah,
and we actually just rebranded to ecoBridge a couple of months ago, month and a half ago, because there was just so much confusion around the token because we had always planned to launch a token. But the original model was pre-finance environmental projects until they produce a revenue and then return that revenue back to funders and use the token as a mechanics or a utility around that. But the pre-finance, basically, we had to solve some inefficiencies in the market before we could do that model because the difficulty to access credits and solving the demand side with more integrations was more important. So we haven't quite gotten there yet.
yeah. It's definitely a huge undertaking to try to launch a token, and yeah, I think using regen is also a great call. I mean, the idea is to help the community and build a product that's useful. And with or without a token, I think you're crushing it.
Yeah, I mean, it made a ton of sense there. It's an awesome community, and we've been partnered with them for a couple of years now, and we align with their mission of this basically open crediting protocol to the world and expanding it out there. And yeah, it's kind of like a vertical integration for
Hmm.
us of basically having regen at the core, being able to create any sort of ecological asset. I don't think it stops at carbon or biodiversity. We had worked on generating a water credit, and I think there's tons of opportunity for basically any type of philanthropy to exist as a credit on regen, to have that verified impact, and then being able to distribute that globally to anywhere all at once is like the grand vision. And yeah, it's perfect to have one token around that vision.
If we, the water credit is super interesting to me, especially because you hear more and more that water is a resource that's depleting, and we just keep consuming more and more as humans and as animals. Everything needs water, so having something really drive conserving water and making sure we're using it appropriately would be essential.
Yeah, I mean, it's so solvable, I think, if you just let the free market handle it by driving demand towards a water credit and let new technologies flourish, let them build sustainable revenue models around credits, knowing that there's demand for them. It would be, yeah, if governments want to get involved, just offer a purchase order for 10 million credits to a certain area, and then the free market will solve it.
James, thank you so much for building something that's meaningful, impactful, and ecologically friendly. It's rare to see that these days, but I'm happy you built it. I'm happy Axelar was able to help with that, and we look forward to seeing you grow.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Rudy. Really great chatting with you. And yeah, thanks to the Axelar team and everybody involved.